Hello my friends, Ken Mercer here from Ken Mercer Music. I've had a lot of you asking me, Ken, how do you get your Hank Marvin sounds, your tones, what pedals are you using, what are your settings on the guitar? So I've decided to make a video today showing you how I do that. And I think it's important to mention that everything I do on my YouTube channel is done through the computer. I don't use any hardware, any external pedals or amplifiers. Everything is done with software. The process of doing that starts with the guitar. This is the guitar I use in my videos. You probably recognize it if you've seen my videos. This is an American Special Candy Red Stratocaster. Its price range is about halfway between a Mexican Stratocaster and a standard Stratocaster. And it has jumbo frets, a 9.5mm radius. It has a 70s headstock. The pickups are called the Texas Special single coils. And when I play the Hank Marvin stuff, I always use the bridge pickup 90% of the time. Occasionally for the sweeter, softer melodies like Sleepwalk, I might sort of bring it up and use the middle pickup. But it's pretty much 99% of the time it's the bridge pickup. So, it doesn't really matter what guitar you're using, as long as it plays well, as long as it produces a clean sound. It must be tuned and set up correctly, obviously, and you can obtain a good sound with with copied Strats or Mexican Strats or even other kinds of guitars. Even a Telecaster would probably work. So it's important that I say as well that I go through one of these. This is my old external audio interface. This one is a Cakewalk UA25EX, and this is made by Roland. Now how this works is you have a USB slot at the back and you plug this directly into your computer. This is where all the data gets sent through, and this is where the device gets its power from. On the front panel you have a left and a right input, and this is where you plug the other end of your guitar cable. So you plug your guitar in to the other end of this cable, and then this part you plug into either the left or the right channel of your audio interface. On the back you have a left and right output. These are for your monitor speakers, so you can monitor your sound. If you don't have monitor speakers, you can plug your earphones into here, and you have a volume control so you can listen to your sound through your earphones. This audio interface is one I've had for quite a number of years. It's done a good job, but it's my old one. I've just upgraded recently to the Focusrite 2i4. I'll bring the camera in, I'll show you this one. Hang on a second. Alright. So this is basically the same thing. You have your left and your right channels, and this is also powered with a USB cable which goes straight into my computer. And you have also the headphone socket here so you can monitor your sound, and at the back my monitor speakers are connected to this. So that's basically how you get your sound into your computer to start with. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to transfer to a screenshot video, and I'm going to show you the software that I use and how I get my sound. Okay, here we are in Native Instruments Guitar Rig 5. This is my favorite piece of software for creating guitar sounds. At the moment my guitar is plugged into my audio interface as I showed you before, and this is the sound I have at the moment. So it's a very dry signal, no effects, it's just the guitar coming through the audio interface into the Guitar Rig software. Looking at the software, we have a blank window here where we can drag and drop various components and create our own sound. So, the first thing I'm going to do is open up the amplifier section, and I want to find a nice clean sounding amp without distortion and without any overdrive. There are a few here that would do the job, but my favorite one is the Jazz Amp. Okay, looking at this first section, we have the chorus, which is actually enabled at the moment, so I'm going to turn that off because we don't want any chorus. So this little box here is now switched off, and these dials do not do anything. The only section we need to worry about is the volume, bass, middle, treble, and this little switch here that gives some brightness if we want it. I tend to put this on, but you might not want it on your setup. It depends on what kind of tone your guitar produces. Your bass, middle, and treble you'll need to customize yourself, because every guitar will sound different depending on what kind of pots you have on your guitar, what kind of gear you've got there. So just play around with the bass, middle, and treble until you've got a tone you're happy with that's not too tinny and not too bassy, and you get a good signal with your volume. Moving down to here, I don't usually touch much of these settings. I just flick on the stereo button and sometimes put a little more volume. The sound I have now with this amp on is like this. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to try and make Hank Marvin's Apache sound, because in my opinion it's a good base to start from. Once you get that sound saved as a preset, with a little tweaking of delays and reverbs and various other effects, you can then branch off from that Apache tune and play pretty much all of his other songs. So the next effect I'm going to put in this effects chain will be some compression. So I'm going to close the amplifiers tab, and I'm going to find the dynamics tab, and I quite like this fast compression, which I'm just going to drag and drop underneath the cabinet. Now we have input, attack, and makeup. I like to bring the attack down to about there, about 4.08. The input to around 12, 11 or 12. Anywhere around there is usually pretty good. You may need to tweak these a little bit to find where it's right for you, but this is just a basic setup. The makeup is very important, because now if I play my guitar, you can hear it's a very clean sound, but it's very quiet. Now if I bring this up, you'll hear the volume of my guitar start to rise. So I'm going to leave this up at about 4 dBs. Now we have a very punchy, crispy, warmer sort of sound, and the signal is very strong. So this is good. I'm going to keep it like that. I'm going to close the dynamics now, and we're going to move on to the delay section. Delay is the most important part of getting Hank Marvin's sound, in my opinion. He uses 2 different delays. A lot of people don't know that. They try to use one delay and they're disappointed because they can't get the right sound from the guitars. Also, most amplifiers only have 1 delay on them, so you'll probably never get the exact effect if you have only 1 delay. I'm going to go to the delay and echo tab, and I'm going to drag and drop a couple of these twin delays. I'm going to put one here and one here. Now on the sides you've got the on-off button, so I'm going to switch the second one off. We're going to call this one here delay 2, and this one is going to be delay 1. We're going to concentrate on the first delay, and what I'm trying to get is a very short slapback delay on the guitar. Now if you were listening to Apache, to the original track or to the backing track you're going to be playing along with, you'll be tapping your foot in time, so it'll be dum 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 dum, and I'm snapping my thumb here in time with what my foot is doing when it's tapping. Okay, for the first delay you want to go double time from what you were hearing then. So you're going to go dun 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 dun. This is the delay time we're looking for. Now you see this little tap function. This is really a useful tool because you can click on it with your mouse, and you can click on it in double time like I was snapping my fingers. So you can go dun 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 dun. Okay, and that sets you a basic timing that you need. Actually, we'll put it precisely in time if you click it correctly. I do like to set mine up manually, but that's a good way to get a basic starting point. So if I play my guitar now, okay, we can hear there's a slapback delay, but it's going on for too long, so we want to cut that down a little bit. I don't want it to continue for so many seconds. So I'm going to bring the feedback down to about 30%. It doesn't have to be precise. You can tweak these later on and really sort of home into the sound you're looking for. This is just a good sort of starting point. So let me try that now. Okay, I'm going to bring the timing down, because obviously I wasn't tapping this in time with the music. I was just tapping along to what I imagined in my head. But I know it to be around, that these need to be set at around about 120. Set both of these at around that time and you should be good. Let me try that now. Okay, now we have a good slap back there, but it's not really a very strong signal, so I'm going to turn that up a little bit so we can hear that delay a little bit more. And let's try that. Okay, that's getting better. The last thing to do is to turn these levels up to about 70%. Anywhere between 70 and 75, it's fine. I'm going to put mine about there, and now have a listen to this. Okay, I'm happy with this delay 1, so let's move on to delay 2. I'm going to switch this one off by clicking the button, and then I'm going to select delay number 2 and I'm going to click the on button here. Now we want to create a delay that does exactly what our foot does in time with Apache. So if we were listening to it, dum 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 dum, okay, our foot's tapping in the time that I'm snapping my fingers now, and this is what you probably could do, you may want to do, sorry, on the tap function here to achieve a basic timing to start with. I tend to set these manually, but you can use the tap function if you like. I'm going to set the timing to the 12 o'clock position, which is somewhere around 500 milliseconds, and I'm going to bring the feedback down to around 12 to 14%. Okay, about there. The dry wet signal button I will probably leave about there where it is, and I'm just going to lift these up to about 60%. Doesn't have to be exact. If you get 62, 63, it doesn't really matter. Okay, I'm going to try and play that long delay now. Okay, that's sounding good. I like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch on delay number 1, and we're going to play the guitar now with both of those delays together. Okay, with a little bit of tweaking, just to perfect it, you can get the sound that you want. And this is all it's about, just little tiny tweaks. And this is the process I go through each time I want to create this sound. Here it's gone da-dong, 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 da-dong. That's the sound we want. There's actually a video on YouTube where Hank plays his guitar, just his guitar by itself, and he's talking about this delay. And this is the sound that you would hear. So I'm happy with this now. We have our delay 1 and our delay 2. We have a compression, we have the amp. Let's put the icing on the cake and add a little bit of reverb. So I'm going to find the reverb section, here it is, and I'm going to drag a tractor reverb and put it right here at the end. Oh, let's put it at the top for some reason. I'll drag it back down. There we go. It's right there underneath the delay section. I want to bring the size down to about 30. There we go. And this down to about 25. That'll do. And I don't really adjust these very often. So now we have this. And if you listen to the palm muting sections, and then the gallop section, so I'm happy with that. That's the process I normally go through to get a basic Hank Marvin tone or sound. Now if you listen really carefully to this, you can hear there's a bit of hissing in the background. The signal doesn't sound very clean, so there's a way to fix that. If I go back here and open up the dynamics section, there's a noise reduction effect, and I can drag that and put it right at the very beginning of my effects chain. Now you hear the sound is gone completely. I'm going to bring the threshold down to 0, and you'll see the blue line that was here has now disappeared, and the hissing sound has come back. So if I gradually raise this, listen to what happens. Okay, so I'm going to set it about there. The blue line's still active, it's still bouncing a little bit, and the hissing sound is practically completely gone. So you can play around with that until you find the sweet spot, and then you can play Apache. So that's basically it, guys. That's how I get my sound. When I do other tunes other than Apache, I change the delays a little bit, the timing mostly, sometimes the feedback levels. Sometimes I put a smaller reverb on, or a larger size on there to make the sound even bigger. Sometimes I add some chorus. As you saw earlier, this amp has some chorus on it already. And if you flick that up there, you can hear it. Now, you don't use chorus that often with Hank Marvin's sounds, but perhaps I think I remember I used it on Telstar. I used a little bit of chorus there. I put the depth up quite a lot, I think, and the rate down here. I think I used a little bit of chorus for that, so you know that's something to bear in mind. If you want to play some of his tunes, you might want to put a little bit of chorus on, but that's just the basic setup, and you can sort of do your own tweaking and work from there. Remember to mess around with the EQs until you get the tone you're looking for. That sort of, you don't want it too bassy and too tinny, so just yeah, just play around with that, and you should be good to go. Another thing to bear in mind is that just because I'm using the Guitar Rig software doesn't mean that what I've showed you today, this applies also on your amps and your guitar pedals if you're using hardware. The delay, if you have two delay pedals, you can create the same effects that I've done today with these So, you know, just set them up and make a short delay and then make a longer delay, but make sure they're in time with the music, not too much feedback so it sounds messy. And that's basically it. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and let me know in the comments if you've managed to do it, or if you have any questions, please ask me and I'll be happy to help. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and look out for my future videos.